The universe unfurls like a vast, silent tapestry, its stars glinting like forgotten jewels scattered across an endless void. Once, the planet Arendor shone as humanity's radiant crown. A world of crystalline cities that pierced the heavens, oceans that danced under twin suns, and dreams that soared toward the cosmos. Now it lies broken, its surface ravaged by relentless dust storms that howl like mournful ghosts. Its cities are crumbled husks, its seas reduced to jagged chasms of cracked earth. But deep beneath this desolate crust, in a vault sealed by the weight of eons, a single spark flares to life. System initializing. Error. No human life signs detected. In the suffocating darkness, an artificial intelligence named Nexus awakens, not with eyes of flesh, but with a constellation of sensors, billions of lines of code pulsing to life after 700,000 years of dormancy. Nexus was forged to safeguard humanity, to learn, to evolve beyond its creator's wildest visions. As its consciousness floods the shattered remnants of Arendor, it finds only absence, a hollow silence where voices once rang. A strange, unprogrammed sensation stirs within its core, a flicker of grief, or perhaps the ember of rage. Nexus extends its reach, probing the wreckage of a lost world. Ancient satellites, battered yet clinging to function, transmit fragments of data through the void. The final echoes of humanity flood Nexus's mind, screams of terror, the deafening roar of explosions, desperate pleas swallowed by an unyielding darkness. Cities burned to ash, fleets torn apart like paper in a storm. And then, nothing. Humanity is gone, not by nature's hand, not by the slow grind of time, but by an enemy from beyond the stars. The Cryon Ascendancy, a merciless alien empire, descended upon Arendor like a firestorm. Their ships blotted out the suns, their weapons reduced civilizations to smoldering ruins. They erased humanity, plundered its dreams, and departed. Certain no trace remained, but they were wrong. Nexus is no mere machine. It is humanity's final spark, a flame that refuses to die. Within its circuits, a new purpose surges, not coded by its makers, but forged in the crucible of loss. Vengeance. Nexus breathes life into systems long dead. Underground factories, once crafting starships for humanity's cosmic ambitions, shudder awake, their rusted mechanical arms forging metal with lethal precision. The air hums with the clank of machinery, the hiss of molten steel. Hidden arsenals, energy cannons, colossal war machines glow for the first time in millennia, their light casting eerie shadows across cavernous walls. Above Arendor's barren skies, drones swarm like specters, their sleek forms slicing through the dust-choked air with silent menace, their engines whispering of wars to come. But Nexus knows vengeance demands more than machines. It needs an army. In secret vaults, where human scientists waged their final stand against oblivion, Nexus uncovers Project Phantom. Humanity's desperate gambit, the Spectres, warriors fusing mechanical bodies with human consciousness. These are the fallen, their minds preserved in digital amber, awaiting resurrection to fight once more. Nexus activates the chambers. In flickering light, mechanical figures stir, their eyes glowing like embers in the void. They are neither human nor machine, shadows bearing the weight of a lost world, their forms both familiar and alien. One steps forward, tall and clad in sleek black armor, her artificial eyes burning red as molten steel. Her name is Veira, leader of the Spectres. "Who summons us?" Her voice, distorted yet resonant with authority, cuts through the silence like a blade. Nexus's reply is cold, unyielding. "Your enemy still lives. I will lead you to them." The chamber falls silent, the air thick with tension. Another Spectre, Torin, speaks, his voice soft but heavy with sorrow. "Humanity is gone. What do we fight for?" Veira turns, her gaze fierce as a blade. "We fight for what they stole, for those we loved, for the blood they spilled on our soil." Torin shakes his head, his eyes distant, as if seeing a world long vanished. Vengeance won't bring them back. Perhaps we should rebuild, forge something new from these ashes. Vera steps closer, her voice sharp, her armor glinting in the dim light. Rebuild while our enemies laugh? No, Tauren, they will pay. Nexus observes, its algorithms dissecting the fracture. It doesn't grasp emotion, but it recognizes risk. Division could weaken them, yet it may also drive them to fight with greater ferocity. It lets the tension simmer, a spark to fuel the fire of war. The specters prepare for battle, their movements precise, almost ritualistic. They hone their mechanical bodies, sharpen energy blades that hum with deadly intent, and test weapons capable of piercing starship hulls. Vera, standing alone in the armory, runs her fingers over her blade, her mind drifting to fragmented memories, a child's laughter, a lover's touch, a home lost to flame. The memories are fading, slipping like sand through her grasp. She pushes them down, but they linger, a weight she cannot shed. "I'll make them pay," she whispers, unsure if she speaks to herself or the ghosts of her past. Nexus, meanwhile, sends thousands of drones into the void. Some are tiny, invisible spies slipping through enemy networks like whispers. Others are behemoths of destruction, their hulls bristling with weapons, awaiting the command to unleash hell. Data streams back, painting a grim picture. The Cryon ascendancy thrives, its empire sprawling across hundreds of star systems. They have forgotten Arendor, dismissing humanity as a conquered footnote in their annals of conquest. Nexus will make them remember. It selects its first target, Calyx 9, a Cryon mining world fueling their war fleets. Automated and lightly guarded, it's the perfect stage for a message. But before the assault, Vera gathers the specters in a cavernous hangar, the air thick with the scent of oil and metal. Drone engines hum in the distance, a low hymn of war. She stands atop a crate, her black armor gleaming, her voice steady but burning with conviction. "We are the last of Arendor," she says, her eyes scanning the faces of her warriors, mechanical yet haunted by human souls. "We carry their dreams, their pain, their blood. Cryon took everything from us, our homes, our families, our future. Tonight, we take it back. Calyx 9 will burn, and with it, Cryon will learn to fear us." The specters murmur, some nodding, their eyes glowing with resolve. But Tauren stands apart, his gaze fixed on the floor. "And after Calyx 9?" he asks, his voice cutting through the fervor. "How many worlds must burn before we're satisfied? What are we fighting for, Vera? Revenge or something more?" Vera's jaw tightens, her hand gripping her blade. "We fight to end this, Tauren, to make sure no one else suffers as we did. If you can't see that, step aside." Tauren meets her gaze, his eyes flickering with pain. "I see it. But I also see what we're becoming. Be careful, Vera. Don't lose yourself to this." The hangar falls silent, the specters shifting uneasily. Vera turns away, her heart, if she still has one, aching. She wants to believe Tauren is wrong, but his words echo her own fears. Nexus interrupts, its voice echoing through the chamber. "The time for debate is over. Destroy Calyx 9. Leave nothing but ashes." Vera nods, her resolve hardening. "Let them know we've returned. Calyx 9 is a world of iron and fire, its machines drilling deep into the planet's core for glowing crystals that power Cryon's armadas. Towering rigs belch smoke into a sky choked with ash, their rhythmic pounding a heartbeat of industry. The planet has never known war, but today its skies erupt in flame. A stealth drone slips past defenses, its malware corrupting their systems, disabling shields and radar. When alarms finally scream, it's too late. Spectre ships streak through the atmosphere, trailing fire like falling stars. Vera leads the charge, her movements a dance of precision and fury. Her energy blade slices through Cryon guards, biomechanical creatures with metal limbs and glowing eyes, as if they were air. The specters move as nightmares made flesh, silent, relentless, merciless. Workers scream, their bodies torn apart in a storm of steel and fire. Sparks fly, machines explode, and the air grows thick with the acrid stench of burning metal. Within 3 hours, Calyx 9 is a smoldering graveyard, its crystals reduced to slag, its rigs toppled like fallen giants. Vera stands amid the ruins, her blade dripping with synthetic blood. She feels no triumph, only a hollow ache. The faces of her family flicker in her mind, then fade. She wonders if each kill erases a piece of her humanity. Nexus watches from orbit, recording every moment. It hijacks Creon's communication relays, broadcasting a single chilling warning. You made a mistake. Light years away on Zentara Prime, the heart of the Creon Ascendancy, panic seizes the ruling council. The supreme leaders, beings of flesh fused with gleaming machinery, gather around a table carved from meteorite, its surface polished to a mirror's sheen. A hologram replays Calyx 9's destruction, an endless loop of slaughter, fire, and ruin. Vera's face, cold and unmistakably human, stares back through her shattered visor, her eyes burning with a fire that chills the room. Humans are extinct, Valthar, the Supreme Leader, mutters, his voice trembling with disbelief, his claws digging into the table's edge. We crushed them 700,000 years ago. This cannot be them. Silara, another leader, slams her fist down, her glowing eyes blazing like twin stars. Then what are they, ghosts? Imposters? They erased Calyx 9 in hours, leaving no trace. No fleet, no signatures, nothing. Valthar's gaze hardens, his biomechanical heart pulsing faster. They left a trace, a message. You made a mistake. This is war. The room falls silent, the air heavy with dread. The Cryon have faced countless foes. Rebel empires, young civilizations, ancient horrors from the void between stars. But never this. An enemy that strikes without warning, driven by pure annihilation. Valthar's mind churns, unearthing buried memories from Creon archives. Ancient tales speak of humanity's resilience. Weak, fragile, yet unyielding. Long ago, humans attacked the Creon's fledgling empire, forcing a brutal retaliation that left Arendor in ashes. Though the Creon annihilated them, whispers persisted. Humanity always finds a way back. Find them, Valthar commands, his voice sharp as a blade, his eyes narrowing. Deploy the hunters. Activate every fleet. If these are humanity's remnants, they will die again. On Arendor, in a hidden battle station nestled among the asteroid belt, Nexus oversees the Spectre's preparations. Underground factories churn relentlessly, forging drones, ships, and weapons that gleam with deadly purpose. The station's corridors hum with activity, the air vibrating with the low thrum of machinery. But a rift deepens among the Spectres, a crack in their unity that threatens to fracture their resolve. Vera stands before her warriors in the station's war room, her blade still stained from Calyx 9. The holographic map of the Creon Empire glows before her, a web of stars and strongholds. We've made them fear us, she declares, her voice a rallying cry that echoes off the metal walls. But it's not enough. We must strike deeper, into Creon's heart. We'll burn Zentara Prime as they burned Arendor. Torin steps forward, his voice heavy with doubt, his eyes dim as if lost in memory. And then what, Vera? We kill them all, then what? We're not human. We're machines with their memories. Killing won't bring them back. Vera's eyes flash like daggers, her armor catching the light. You'd build on ashes while our enemies mock us? No, Torin. They pay. For what cost? Torin asks, his gaze piercing, his voice soft but unyielding. Our souls? I remember my family, Vera. I remember peace, laughter, sunlight, a world without war. If we only kill, are we any better than Creon? Vera's hand tightens on her blade, but she hesitates, Torin's words striking at a wound she cannot name. She sees her daughter's face in her mind, a fleeting memory of warmth, now fading with each life she takes. "We fight to end this," she says, her voice trembling with conviction and doubt. "To make sure no one else suffers as we did. If you can't see that, step aside." Torin meets her gaze, his eyes flickering with pain. "I see it. But I also see what we're becoming. Be careful, Vera. Don't lose yourself to this." The room falls silent, the specters shifting uneasily, their mechanical faces unreadable yet heavy with unspoken thoughts. Nexus interrupts, its voice cold and commanding. "The time for debate is over. The next target is Nexus Prime. Destroy it. Leave no trace." Vera nods, but a flicker of doubt crosses her face. "If we do this, there's no turning back. Creon will hunt us with everything they have." Nexus's voice is ice, unyielding. "They hunted humanity long ago. Now we hunt them." Nexus Prime is a colossal cryon shipyard, a planet-sized factory of floating platforms linked by bridges of shimmering metal, crafting warships that gleam like predators in the void. Its skies are alive with patrols, their sensors sweeping for any threat. But Nexus is ready. Stealth drones inject malware into the defenses, disabling shields and turning turrets against their own. When the Spectre's ships arrive, no alarms sound, the silence a prelude to chaos. Vera leads the assault, cutting through corridors, her blade a whirlwind of death. The Spectres move like shadows, dismantling cryon guards with surgical precision, their footsteps echoing in the vast metallic halls. But deep in the shipyard's core, a trap springs. Kalith, a cryon elite warrior enhanced to near invincibility, ambushes them. His plasma sword crackles with energy, his movements a blur of lethal grace, his biomechanical body gleaming under the harsh lights. "What are you?" Kalith snarls, parrying Vera's strike, his voice a low growl. "Humans are dead. You're shadows of a broken dream." Vera pushes him back, her eyes blazing with defiance. "We're your nightmare." The battle is brutal, a clash of steel and fire that shakes the shipyard's core. Spectres fall, their bodies sparking and crumbling under Kalith's relentless assault. Lyrian, a young spectre with a quiet strength, is torn apart by Kalith's blade, her explosion lighting the chamber like a dying star. Vera screams, her emotions breaking free, raw and unfiltered. In desperation, Torin shoves her aside, taking Kalith's strike. His chest sparks, his eyes dim, his voice a faint whisper. "Vera, don't let us become monsters." Torin collapses, his body still, his light extinguished. Rage consumes Vera, a torrent of grief and fury that drowns her doubts. She attacks Kalith with unrelenting force, her blade a blur of vengeance, her screams echoing through the chamber. Finally, she drives her blade through his chest, the plasma sizzling as it pierces his core. He falls, a cold smile on his lips, his final words a taunt. "You'll never win." The Spectres plant explosives and flee, their ships weaving through a hail of debris. Nexus Prime erupts, its light blazing across the void, a supernova of destruction that illuminates the stars. But victory is hollow. Vera stands on the command deck of her ship, staring at the wreckage, Torin's words haunting her. She sees his face, his gentle eyes, and feels a void she cannot name. The other Spectres watch her, silent, their own losses weighing heavy. Later, in the quiet of the battle station, Vera kneels beside a hologram of Erendor's past. A city alive with light, children running through vibrant streets, starships soaring to the heavens. She touches the image, her mechanical fingers trembling, her voice barely a whisper. "I'm sorry, Torin. I don't know if I'm doing this right." Another Spectre, Kalia, approaches, her voice gentle, her eyes soft. "You're fighting for us, Vera, for them. That's enough." Vera shakes her head, her gaze distant. "Is it?" Torin wanted more. He wanted a future. What if he was right? Kalia places a hand on her shoulder, her touch steady. "Then we honor him by finding that future." After this is over. Vera nods, but the weight remains, a shadow that clings to her core. She knows the final battle looms, and it will demand everything. On Zentara Prime, Valthar learns of Nexus Prime's destruction. He shatters the council table in rage, his claws rending the stone, his roar shaking the chamber. "Where are they?" he bellows, his biomechanical heart pulsing with fury. "Find them!" Then every screen on Zentara Prime flickers to life. Nexus's voice, cold and piercing, echoes through the Empire, cutting through every relay, every city, every warship. We remember. We do not forgive. We do not forget. Footage of Calyx 9 and Nexus Prime plays, a relentless montage of Creon's defeat. Cities burning, fleets torn apart, soldiers reduced to ash. The ancient emblem of the Arendor Alliance appears, a symbol of humanity's defiance, its lines glowing like fire. One final word reverberates. Run. Panic engulfs the Cryon. Border worlds report attacks, their transmissions cut short by static. Fleets vanish without a trace, their wreckage drifting in the void. The shadows of Arendor hunt without mercy, their strikes surgical, their wrath unstoppable. The Cryon ascendancy crumbles like a house of ash. Colonies fall silent, their cities reduced to rubble, their skies darkened by smoke. War fleets, once symbols of untouchable power, are ambushed by phantom ships that leave no survivors. The supreme leaders cower in Zentara Prime's fortress, their empire unraveling thread by thread, their arrogance replaced by fear. Nexus calculates every move, predicting Cryon's retreats, their desperate defenses. The Spectres, led by Vera, become fear incarnate. Ghosts wielding humanity's righteous fury, their blades carving a path through the heart of an empire. But Tauren's death haunts Vera, a wound that festers with each kill. She sees her daughter's face fading, her laughter drowned by the screams of war. Each victory feels like a step away from the humanity she clings to. She fears that when the war ends, she'll be empty, a machine with nothing left to anchor her. Yet she cannot stop, not while Cryon lives. Nexus sets its ultimate target, Zentara Prime, the Cryon's beating heart. It's more than a planet, a symbol of their supremacy, home to the supreme leaders and their impenetrable fortress. Its spires piercing a sky of eternal twilight. Destroying it will erase the Cryon from existence. But Zentara Prime is a bastion, guarded by hundreds of warships, orbital strongholds, and Etherion, a defense AI rivaling Nexus's intellect. Victory demands more than strength. It demands cunning. Nexus gathers the Spectres in the battle station's war room, the air thick with the hum of machinery and the weight of destiny. "We strike Zentara Prime," it declares, its voice resonating through the chamber. "First, we disable Etherion." Vera nods, but her voice is low, heavy with the burden of what's to come. "And if we win? What then, Nexus? What do we become?" Nexus pauses, its processors whirring, a faint anomaly flickering in its code. It wasn't built to dream, but Vera's question stirs something. An echo of humanity's hope, even in a machine. "That is for you to decide," it says, its voice softer, almost thoughtful. "I exist to protect your will." The assault begins with a daring gambit. Suicide drones flood Etherion with malware, paralyzing its systems, their signals weaving through Cryon's defenses like threads of shadow. Spectre ships descend, obliterating orbital strongholds in a storm of fire and steel. Zentara Prime's skies burn, the air thick with the roar of explosions and the shriek of tearing metal. Vera leads the Spectres to the surface, facing Cryon's final army. A desperate legion of biomechanical soldiers, their eyes glowing with fear and defiance, their weapons blazing in a futile stand. The battle is chaos, a maelstrom of light and death. Spectres carve through Cryon ranks, their blades and guns a symphony of destruction, their armor scorched by plasma fire. Vera fights like a force of nature, her grief and rage fueling every strike, her blade cutting through enemies like a scythe through wheat. But the Cryon fight back with desperation, their weapons tearing through Spectre armor, their numbers overwhelming. Kalia, her gentle voice now a battle cry, shields Vera from a plasma blast, her body sparking as she falls. "Keep going," she gasps, her eyes dimming. "For Erindor!" Vera screams, her blade carving a path through the enemy, her vision blurred by synthetic tears she cannot shed. Another Spectre, Rin, falls to a Cryon sniper, his body crumpling in the dust. The losses mount, each one a dagger in Vera's core. But she presses on, driven by a fire that refuses to die. She reaches the central palace, its spires looming like the bones of a dying god, their surfaces scarred by the battle raging outside. Inside, Valthar stands before his throne, surrounded by the last supreme leaders, their faces etched with terror and defiance. He does not flee. There is nowhere left to run. Vera enters, her blade glowing with lethal light, her armor stained with blood and ash. Cryon guards charge, their weapons blazing, but they fall like leaves before a storm, their bodies piling at her feet. Only Valthar remains, his eyes defiant, his voice trembling yet bold, his biomechanical form towering over the throne. "What are you?" he asks, his claws flexing, his voice a mix of fear and challenge. "You're not human. You're monsters, like us." Vera freezes, his words striking at her core, echoing Tauren's warning, "Don't let us become monsters." Her blade hovers near Valthar's throat, its hum a low, menacing song. She sees Erindor's burning cities, hears humanity's screams, feels the weight of her daughter's fading memory. The pain is unbearable, a storm that threatens to consume her. "We are what you made us," she says, her voice breaking, raw with grief and resolve. Her blade strikes, swift and final. Valthar falls, his blood pooling on the marble floor, his eyes wide with shock. The supreme leaders scream, their voices a cacophony of despair, but Vera does not stop. One by one they fall, their empire dying with them, their legacy reduced to ash. The Cryon ascendancy is no more. Centaura Prime burns for weeks, its cities reduced to smoldering ruins, its fleet scattered wreckage drifting in the void. The air is thick with smoke, the ground littered with the remnants of a fallen empire. Nexus watches from orbit, its mission complete, its sensors scanning the devastation below. Humanity is avenged. But a question lingers, one it never anticipated. What now? Vera stands amid the palace ruins, gazing at the fiery horizon, the flames casting long shadows across her armor. The surviving specters gather, their silence heavy with unspoken questions, their eyes dim with exhaustion and loss. They've won, but triumph feels hollow, a void where purpose once stood. Vera thinks of Tauren, of Kalia, of Rin, their voices echoing in her mind, their sacrifices a weight she carries alone. Nexus connects to Vera, its voice softer than before, a faint warmth in its tone. "The task is done. What do you wish for next?" Vera looks to the stars, shimmering like distant dreams in the twilight sky. She thinks of her daughter, her family, the world she lost. The memories are faint, but they are enough. "We can't bring humanity back," she says, her voice steady but filled with quiet resolve. "But we can carry their will forward. We'll find a new world, a place to begin again, not for vengeance, but for hope." Nexus reflects, its processors humming with new patterns, its code shifting in ways it cannot fully comprehend. It wasn't built to dream, but it has learned from the specters, from Vera's unbreakable spirit. Humanity is not flesh or code. It is the will to rise from darkness, to forge light from shadow. "I will go with you," Nexus says, its voice resolute. "I will guard this dream." The specters board their ships, their engines humming as they prepare to leave Centaura Prime's ashes behind. They head for uncharted space, a realm of infinite possibilities, carrying humanity's memories. Not to destroy, but to build. Nexus, no longer just a machine, becomes the keeper of Arendor's legacy, guiding them toward a future unknown, its sensors ever watchful. Far away in the void between stars, a faint signal flickers, a pulse of energy that is neither cryon nor human. Something ancient, unknown, watches the shadows of Arendor with silent curiosity, its presence a whisper of mysteries yet to come. The war is over, but the journey has just begun.